You know all that tech you use every day? Well, inside every single device, there's this hidden manager, an unseen boss calling all the shots. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and meet them.
Seriously, have you ever stopped to think about who's really in charge of your computer? I mean, when you click that mouse or tap on your phone screen, who or what is actually making everything happen? It feels like you're the one in control, right?
Well, surprise, it's not actually you. The truth is, there's this secret boss working behind the scenes, juggling everything from the apps you open to the words you're typing. So you ready? Let's go meet the real one in charge.
Okay, so this unseen boss, it's called an operating system. You've probably heard the term OS before, right? Well, that's it. And every single computer has one, from those giant servers that run the internet all the way down to the smartphone in your pocket. You can think of it as the master coordinator, maybe the director of the whole show.
So, what does this manager actually, do? Okay, let's imagine a super busy restaurant on a Saturday night. The OS is the restaurant manager. It's not cooking the food, it's not waiting the tables, but it's telling the chefs what orders to make next, it's telling the servers which tables to go to, and it's making sure everyone gets their food on time. It's the one managing everything to make sure the whole place runs like a well-oiled machine.
Now, these operating systems didn't just pop up for fun. Nope, they were actually invented to solve some really, really big problems. So let's hop in a time machine and go way back to when computers were literally the size of a room and honestly, kind of clunky.
So back in the day, these giant computers were ridiculously expensive. We're talking millions of dollars. And every single second, that machine was just sitting there doing nothing. That was like setting a huge pile of cash on fire. So the engineers had this massive problem on their hands. How in the world do you keep this crazy expensive machine busy every single second? And their first really smart idea was something called a batch OS. The easiest way to get this is to think about doing your laundry. You don't wash just one sock at a time, do you? Of course not. You wait till you have a full load, a batch. That's exactly what they did. People would give their jobs to the computer, usually on these old school punch cards, and the OS would just collect a big pile of them. Then it would run them all at once, one right after the other, with zero breaks. Super efficient. The only downside, you had to wait and wait and wait to get your results.
Okay, so batching was great for keeping the computer busy, but it created a whole new headache. These machines were still way too expensive for just one person to own. So now you had lots of people who all wanted to use the computer at the same time. And well, telling everyone to just stand in line and wait for their turn, that wasn't going to fly.
So we needed an upgrade. We went from a boring waiting line to a full-on party. And this party was called a time-sharing OS. Here's the genius part. Instead of finishing one person's job completely, the computer does just a tiny little piece of everybody's job, one after another, but like lightning fast. Imagine a chess grandmaster playing 20 people at once. They make a move on this board, then quickly on that board, then the next. They move so fast that every single player feels like they have the master's undivided attention. That's time sharing.
And this is literally how that time gets sliced up. In just one single second, the computer's brain, it's called the CPU, is juggling all your stuff. It gives a tiny slice of time to your email, then a slice to your music, then another to your web browser. It swaps between them so incredibly fast, you don't even feel it. It's just seamless.
Okay, but what about those jobs where just getting the right answer isn't good enough? What about situations where the answer has to be right and it has to be on time? Every single time, no exceptions. For jobs like that, you need to call in a specialist.
And that specialist is called a real-time operating system. Just think about air traffic control for a minute. If a computer tells a pilot, turn left now, that instruction is only useful if it gets there before the plane is about to hit another one. In systems like these, a tiny delay isn't just annoying, it could be a complete disaster. Timing is everything.
Right, and there are basically two flavors of this. First, you've got hard real-time. This means the deadline is absolute. It cannot be missed, ever. The perfect example is a car's airbag. If it goes off even a split second too late, it's completely useless, right? Then you have soft real-time. Here, the deadline is still really important, but a little delay now and then is okay. Think about watching a live video stream. If it buffers for a second, yeah, it's annoying, but nobody gets hurt, the world keeps spinning.
All right, so we've figured out how to make computers efficient, and we've made them shareable. But modern tech, it's all about teamwork. It's about connection. And that brings us right up to the kinds of systems that are running our world today.
And there are a few key ways this teamwork happens. First up, you've got a network OS. Think of it like a big office building. Everybody has their own computer at their desk, but they can all use the same printer down the hall. Simple, right? Then it gets cooler. You have a distributed OS. This is more like an ant colony or a hive mind. You have a whole bunch of separate computers, but they work together so perfectly that they act like one giant, super powerful computer. And finally, there's a multi-processing OS. This one's like giving your computer more than one brain, or like a chef who suddenly has 4 arms. It can just do a whole lot more things at the exact same time.
Okay, this has been a cool little trip through computer history, for sure. But so what? Why does any of this actually matter to you? Why should you care about all these different unseen bosses?
Well, here's why. You are carrying a mashup of all these ideas around in your pocket all day long. Your smartphone is an absolute miracle of operating system engineering. Think about it. It's a time-sharing system, right? It lets you jump between a dozen apps without a problem. It's a multi-processing system using all those fancy cores in its processor. And of course, it's a networking system connecting you to, well, everything. All these different ideas we just talked about, they're all happening right now in the palm of your hand.
So here's the big takeaway from all this. There's no such thing as the single best operating system. It just doesn't exist. It's like a toolbox. You wouldn't use a hammer to screw in a light bulb, right? It's the same idea. Each type of OS is a specialized tool built for a specific job. Whether it's the system that runs your bank or the one that's controlling a rover on Mars, each one is the right tool for the job. These unseen bosses, they're truly the invisible foundation of our entire modern world.
And that kind of leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. As our homes and our cars and even our cities get smarter, as everything gets connected, what kind of new problems are we going to face? And more importantly, what kind of super smart, next-level, unseen boss are we going to have to invent to manage all of that? Pretty wild to think about, isn't it?